Welcome back, everybody. This is Dale from LackLuster Gaming, the show for those who love to game but know they're mediocre at best. Let me know what you guys think about that new intro. I'm working on some other ideas, but I want to know your thoughts and comments down below. Let me know. You like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? You hate it? Do you hate it? I want to give a big shout out to JustGaming 44 for hosting our tournament yesterday. He made a 100 player tournament for us, and I want to show you the top 3 players from that tournament and how well they did, what decks they were using, and all of that. So go ahead, check that out. As you know, a few weeks ago, I received all 62 out of 62 cards, now it's 63, but included in that was the graveyard card. And since then, I've been trying to figure out how to use it. It is a very difficult card to figure out at first, but once you get the hang of it, it can be incorporated into almost any deck. I also want to show you my deck. Today, we are featuring the graveyard card, and if you didn't know, a couple of weeks ago, I unlocked the graveyard, and I haven't been able to really incorporate into my deck. And I've been using a hog cycle in the ladder, but I finally figured it out, you guys. The minor graveyard combo. Now, I also have a deck that does not use the minor or any other legendaries other than the graveyard. So stick around so you can see that deck as well if you have the graveyard and need a good deck for it. Now, on screen, this is actually a battle from the tournament yesterday. And we're going up against Ariam from Top Royale. Shout out to you. Let me know down in the comment section who you are, Ariel. All right. So I want to see who I was fighting up against yesterday, because a lot of these are really great battles. Now, as you can see, this deck is composed of the Mega Minion, of course, most widely used card in the game at the moment. We've also got the Log, Fire Spirits, the Inferno Tower, Skarmy, the Princess, the Miner, and the card Spotlight, the Graveyard. It's amazing. Now, the trick is to not let your opponent know that you have the Graveyard, right? So, I usually wait until my opponent has the Graveyard. So, the Graveyard's fairly easily countered with cards like the Princess. That's why I have the Princess in it. Actually, the Archers work really well as well. So, if you don't have the Princess, use the Archers. You'll see that later on in the video. But look at this. I waited for my opponent to expend some elixir on his push, and then I used my push, and he countered the exact same way using Skarmy. So, here's how you deal with that, because it's pretty common of a counter for the graveyard is to use a Skarmy. We're going to try to place the Fire Spirits in the back, followed by the Princess, and once they get to the bridge, then send the Miner and the Graveyard combo at the same time. That way, once they place down their Skarmy, those Fire Spirits will take out the Skarmy, and the Princess will help take out everything else with her splash damage. So, really great combo if used correctly. It's difficult to set it up perfectly like that, but it is extremely rewarding when you do. Now, this was a fairly close battle because we're both using the exact same win conditions. Our biggest win conditions in this deck are the Miner and the Graveyard. Supporting troops are the Fire Spirits, Mega Minion, and the Princess and the Skarmy. So a lot of those can also be used on defense. Obviously, the Mega Minion and Skarmy work great on defense as long as they don't have Zap. But a lot of this deck is zappable. You've got your Fire Spirits, your Inferno Tower, and your Skarmy all bait out Zap. So if you can bait that out and use it to your advantage, you'll win, just like that, even if it's a close match. And most matches that I win with this deck are 1 to 2 crowns. So it's a pretty long, exhausting road to the crown chest every day, but I have been using this deck in the ladder. So, not only is it a good tournament deck, we also use it in the ladder. I'll show you some replays of that too in a couple minutes, but check that out. I've got my Princess on the front line. We do really well against these minion hordes because the Fire Spirits just take those out, no problem. And then we're building up elixir, and I kind of use the push a little early, but I send the Miner in, I send the Graveyard in immediately after, he zaps for some reason, because the zap isn't gonna do anything to the miner. I don't know why he did that, but we just took that tower out, no problem. We're gonna log that and use the mega minion to swipe away that hog rider, and we've taken a tower out in less than a minute. So we've got 2 minutes left to try to either 3 crown or dual crown this tower. So I always put my princess down right up at the bridge. Not always, that's a lie. I like to put the princess down at the bridge, because if in doing that, it's basically a free 150 to 300 hit points off of my opponent's tower without having to really work for it. And most counters are equal unless they have the log. If they do have the log, then you know they get a 1 elixir advantage over you from that trade-off. But other than that, it's not too bad. And I don't know why I would log fire spirits, especially that late. So those were actually able to reach the tower. And now, you know, if I'd not logged right there and just let those fire spirits hit it, that whole push would have been ineffective. But because of my bad judgment, basically they were able to get to the tower and do tons of damage. But just like that, we put the princess up. She's got 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots off. So 450 roughly damage on their arena tower, and it was free. And he had to waste 5 elixir to go up against my my princess. So you know, it's a good trade. 5 for 3. I love it. So the fire spirits are also really good at taking out the goblin barrel. Now, I've got a big push coming up over here on the left side. I don't know why he didn't keep pushing on that side. I would have been totally destroyed had he continued. But there you see, I had the princess in the back because of the big swarm that was coming in. That's pretty much the only time that I'll use my princess in the back. Sometimes I'll place her in the middle if they're going towards the other tower. If going towards the right tower and I want then the princess to go left. But check that out. Again, at the bridge, taking out all those units that they're using to counter my graveyard. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I want a princess. I want my fire spirits to get in there and splash damage away all the tiny troops that they are countering my graveyard with. So, at this point, we've tied it up. I kind of played really bad in this match, as you can see. And because of that, I've lost a tower. I could have just defended really heavily on that right side and probably would have been okay. And again, I've got a massive push, kind of a worthless log. I got a fire spirit out those minions and then place down this Inferno Tower for the hog rider, and he's just wasting tons of elixir, just throwing stuff at my tower. So that's why, you know, I just start sending in small things, letting my elixir build up. I got my princess. He's going to counter that with my minions, but luckily she locked onto them. We'll fire spirit all of that out, and looks like all I got to do is send in either this graveyard, a log. I just got to get like 1 or 2 tiny little shots off as he's trying now for the 3 crown, but it's going to be ineffective. So we ended up winning the second battle. Pretty great. Now, we're going to move on to a different variation of this deck. So I know I use a lot of legendary cards now in ladder play and in tournaments. It is very useful to use a lot of them in combination. They have good, they sync well together, if you know what I mean. So in this deck, we have subbed out the princess for these archers, and we have subbed out the miner for the ice golem. So it actually made the deck a little bit cheaper with the ice golem, because we subbed out a 3 elixir deck, or a 3 elixir card for a 2 elixir card. Now check that out. I waited until the tower locked on to the ice golem and then sent in the graveyard, and we almost took out the entire tower. There it is. All right, the archers behind it took out the entire tower. So this deck in this form might actually be a little bit better than the legendary heavy. And I mean, look at that. I've got 1 tower down, no damage to either one of my towers, but you can't get cocky with this deck. You can't, because it'll bite you right in the back. It will. and it does. So check this out. This is a really insane battle. I was literally shaking after this battle. It gets really insane. So I drop my ice golem in the center so that both towers lock onto it. I drop my graveyard, and he's using arrows. He's using the giant. I set up that push immediately after he dropped the giant. The reason I did that is because I know he's down 5 elixir. So he's only going to have, at best, 5 elixir to counter my big push. So my push with this version of the deck is only 7 elixir. So it's not too bad. If you can save up 7 elixir, that's about the cost of a lava hound. You know, boom, nail it, and then you can gain elixir back really easily. So my experience with this deck, especially against golems, lava hounds, and these big tank pushes, is that it does really well. It's got great defense, and if they're using a ton of elixir to drop something off like this, now 3 muskies. Maybe not the 3 muskies. 3 muskies you kind of want to hold back and make sure you have enough elixir to defend. Otherwise they'll just wipe you out. So at this point, I'm kind of a little bit afraid, but the fire spirits, if you can get them to the 3 muskies, actually work pretty well. Now he's raged out his giant, and the 3 muskies are just too far back. 6 muskies! What is going on? Oh my god, I've got 6 muskies on my tower, but look at these fire spirits. Just one of them makes it to him. He has taken out my second tower. So Oh, no, he's taking out 1 tower. My bad. This is just too exciting of a game. You've got to check this out. So now he's tied it up within the last couple of seconds, and he's got a lot of elixir on the map, so we throw in our graveyard because I know those 2 cards, the Mega Minion and that, the Dark Prince, are going to have a hell of a time fighting off the graveyard. Did it pretty good. I think I got 200 damage on the tower on that push, but now we're in a good position. I've got a little less than half of the health of an Inferno Tower guarding my base. So we're going to place down the archers. We're going to place down that Inferno, or that Ice Golem. Pull that Dark Prince over. He's dropping 3 muskies to counter, but look at those archers just doing work. And that's why the archers sometimes are better than the princess, because their DPS is just so much higher. Their attack rate is so fast, and they do over 100 damage every time one of those arrows hits. So it just took out 800 points on that. So we know he's got this big push. I know we've got a 3 muskies attack coming soon. He's raged up all of that because he's trying to 3-crown me, but the Skarmy is going to distract and take out, not only distract, but take out most of that push. So I've got half of my Skarmy going in. He's got that. We're going to zap those dudes away so that when my Ice Golem pops, they die. We'll send in our archers just to take out that Mega Minion. I probably dropped them a little bit too early because at this point I'm kind of like, but hey, check it out. Fire spirits, boom, 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 knocked out that whole push. So he just wasted at least 12 elixir on that push. So now I've got Ice Golem coming in. They're locked onto that. I've got the graveyard popped up, and it's just doing tons of work. Fire Spirit for the ending, and that is it. That is game. Now, try this deck out. Let me know how it works for you guys. Don't forget about the giveaway. It ends tonight, so get your submissions in. And a big shout out to JustGaming 44, Premium Plus Pokemon, and 2 Mountain Entertainment. We'll see you guys tomorrow, alright? Peace out.